All right, so here for example 3, we're going to write an equation again. In this case, we're talking about cellular phones. So it says in December of 1990, when you guys were not even a figment in your parents' imagination, Uncle Kyle was just a little boy back then, says there were 5,283,000 cellular subscribers in the US. By December 2000, this number had risen to 109 million. Woo! That's when you guys were just little pups. I know somebody may have had a cell phone back then when you're 2 or 3. Here for a, it says we have to write an exponential function of the form y equals a times b to the x. That can be used to model the number of subscribers y in the US. And we need to write our function so that is in terms of x, and x is your number of years since 1990. So we know in order to start out our equation, we need to have a 0, comma a. So it does tell us in 1990 there were 5,283,000 subscribers. So if x is your number of years since 1990, well, if we're in 1990, then your number of years since then would just be 0. So we'd say 0, comma 5,283,000. That's your first ordered pair. And then our second one would be in 2000. So how many years since 1990 is 2000? Well, that would be 10. So that is your x. And it says there were 109,478,000 during 2000. So we need to write our equation of y equals a times b to the x. We have our a, so a is 5,283,000. So we're going to say our y value, which is 109,478,000. That's equal to a, which is 5,283,000, times your b, which we don't know yet, times your x, which is 10. So in order to solve from here, we need to divide both sides by 5,283,000. Divide over here by 5,283,000. You cannot take 5 million times b and then take the 10th root, or you can't just take the 10th root to get rid of it yet. So when we do this, this ends up giving us a lovely little value of 20.722. That's going to be equal to b to the 10th. Now, in order to get rid of the 10th, what you have to do is you have to take the 10th root of both sides. So we take the 10th root. You have to remember how to plug this into your calculator. You're going to have to type in the 10 first. Then you hit your math key, and I believe it's number 5. You're looking for the button that has, you're going to type a 10, and then there's going to be a button that looks like x, the x root, by hitting your math button, and then it's going to end up making it a 10 up here, as long as your calculator has been updated. So that's going to give you your b, and your b ends up just being 1.35. So then finally we can write our equation, and your equation ends up being y equals 5 million, which is your a, 283,000, times b, which is now 1.35 to the power of x. That is your equation you are going to use. Ugh, that's just gross. That's the equation, or that's your equation you may use for future predictions. Speaking of future predictions, I predict we have a part B that you guys would love to read and try. This is not that bad. It says, suppose the number of cellular telephone subscribers continues to increase at the same rate. Estimate the number of US subscribers in 2010. So we're going to use our equation that we have above, and we're going to estimate how many people do we think will probably have a phone, oh my gosh, 5 years ago now. So we need to figure out what to plug in for x. So we know that x is equal to your number of years since 1990. So if we take 2010 and subtract 1990, that will give you a 20. So we're going to take this x out, and we're going to put a 20 in its place. So we're going to take all this, type it into your calculator exactly the way it is, 5283000, parentheses 1.35, parentheses raised to the power of 20, and you should end up getting a nice answer of, let's see, 20 years later, how about 2,100,000,000, oh God, those numbers are ugly, 135,000,000 and 777,370 people. So almost a fourth of the population of the world. Not too bad if that's true. I wonder what the number of subscribers was in 2010. I should get bonus for turning that in. So I hope this helped you write an equation. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter, TL Campus, or email.